Tony Shalhoub said that he's actually become more like his character since he's been
Well, we don't
playing
shake
this.
hands with anybody
You
anymore.
don't? Nobody. So have you become more like your character?
I think I've become more OCD since the show. I don't think I've become more like my character. I think I've become more like Monk.
Today, Jason Gray-Stanford is here from Monk and Emmy Award winner Fern Field. She's helped produce Monk for the past 7 seasons. Besides Monk, they're working on a new project, Grammar Bee, to help promote the correct use of English. And later in the show, Ben Rosenblum will join us, the winner from the first season of Grammar Bee. Great to have you both here today. Jason.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so
Hi,
much.
Greg.
Fern, welcome back.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
My pleasure. Congratulations, 7 seasons for Monk.
Wow, huh? Isn't it amazing?
Yep.
Yeah, we're still ticking. It's a little show that could. We just keep going.
That's right. We premiere on July 22nd with the new episodes for season 7.
How was it during the strike? Was it a little bit iffy there for a while, or?
Well, it's always tough when something like that happens, and you know, we're just glad we're through it and we are forging on, and that everyone is back at work.
Well, your character is a goofball.
Yes, thank you.
I don't know how else to describe it. Is that how you describe him?
No, not at all. Actually, I think he's very intelligent. To be very honest with you, I think Randy is a very diligent, loyal. Very, very good cop. He just has a little problem of leaping before he looks sometimes, as we all do sometimes.
Well, I saw the episode last night. I love the one where he goes to the dentist, and he
Yes.
thinks he sees the murder, and he quits the force because he ain't getting no respect from the other officers.
Right.
And-
Right.
That was a great
Yeah, a lot of fun. I mean, we have so many great episodes. That's one that's great for me because it's you know, Monk's allowed us to do so many different things within the show. Not only do I play a cop on the show, we get to do. It's a show that kind of walks this beautiful line between comedy and drama, between this, you know, hilarity and great poignant moments as well.
Could you start with some awful murder or something, or
yeah,
crime?
very
and
much
then-
so.
Yes,
You know,
it's
and then
amazing. Our teases have terribly violent things, and everybody perceives this as a show that it's really non-violent.
Yeah, and we are a
Because
family
once
show
we go
at its
into
core.
the body of the show,
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, but you get to do so many different things on it. And in that particular episode, you know, I get to sing, and
and that was really you singing.
That is really me
Yeah.
singing. Yeah, singing and playing.
And that is
Absolutely.
the perfect song to sing to your former boss, isn't it?
Yes,
Oh, yes.
absolutely.
I don't need this job.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
credit to our great writers for that. Yeah, very much.
You want to do a line for us right now?
I'm trying to let me think if I.
Do you remember?
Well, I do know one. If you know the show, Ted Levine, who plays Captain Stoudemire, has a mustache, and I do remember one of the lines is, "I don't need your mustache. Don't you condescend to me," and that will actually come back later because really that's horrible grammar.
And thus Grammar Bee,
Yeah.
which we'll get into later.
Well, one of the things that Jason, who's our host and really held it all together, says is, "My grammar is poor."
Yeah.
You know,
You
which-
admitted during the
Oh,
contest that,
absolutely. I was. That's you got to be honest and get that out right away. I was like, thank gosh I'm here because I need as much help as anybody else.
Were you a little bit hesitant to take on the job?
Not
with that?
actually, never, not at all. Once
And-
Fern asked, and we talked about it. She told me what she wanted to do and how she wanted to do it. I was there, you know, in a heartbeat. As daunting as good grammar is to me.
But he was amazing. I mean, Jason really is a natural host. It's a whole other career in case he decides to go that way. And
Was this the first hosting you've done?
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
Yes.
The first time I've ever done something. I mean, something like that. You know,
And
in the
he's-
Alex
he's-
Trebek vein. Yes.
Yes, right. I told him, Howie Mantell, move over. But he's also got great talents as a producer and a director because he held the show together. We had so many technical problems, and everybody came in at the last minute. We didn't have time to rehearse or anything, and Jason and Jane really held the show together, and Jane said he was such a help to her. He was amazing.
Well, even Jason kind of came in last minute. Is that right? Do you mind if
Everybody
I-
sort of came.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was-
everybody sort of came at the last minute because you have to understand I'm the least qualified person in the world to develop a competition game show.
Well, to give you the plug for your great career in TV, I mean, you've done a million.
I've done
shows
everything.
over
I
the
used
years.
to introduce myself as somebody who's done everything there is to do in television except game
Except the
shows.
game
Now
shows.
that's
you
it.
can-
Now
Doesn't
nothing.
work,
Now you're done.
right?
You're done. Get out. Get out of the business. You're done. Go.
You started out on Maude. Was that your
I
first?
was assistant to the executive producer of Maude. That was my first job in television in 1975.
And the executive producer was?
Rod Parker.
Oh, okay, but it was a Norman Lear.
It was a Norman Lear show, yeah.
Okay,
It was
okay.
a Norman Lear show, and I worked for Norman Lear for 12 years. I I moved into producing, and I produced the first movie of the week the company ever did, and the first, which was Eleanor, First Lady of the World, starring Gene Stapleton, and a 7-hour miniseries, Cain and Abel, with Sam Neill and Peter Strauss. So I did all the dramatic stuff that they did.
And I noticed that besides winning the Emmy Award, you were actually nominated for an Oscar as well.
Yeah, that was, I did that in between. It was an offshoot of, it happened because of Maude, and it was a featurette to encourage employment of people with disabilities, a comedy musical.
And I know you've done a lot of ABC after-school
specials. I did 7 of them, 5 for Norman Lear, 2 for my own company.
I grew up watching those, by the way.
Really, they were great. And The Wave, which coincidentally has just been made into a feature, and we ran into Bruce Davison at the memorial service for Stanley Kamel, who was Dr. Kroger on Monk, was aired primetime in a series that ABC called Theater for Young Americans, and it won the Emmy.
So, given the nature of the TV business, I hope you don't mind my saying this, but how did you stumble into Monk then, after all these other shows that you've done?
My whole life, my autobiography is titled My Accidental Life. Everything in my life has happened by accident, because 8 years ago I thought I was done with the business. I was going to move to the desert to write, and as soon as I sold my place in the marina, I got a job at Tribune Entertainment, and that lasted for about 2.5 years, and then it was over. I said, I'm going to the desert to write. And 2 weeks later, a friend of mine who was head of production for the network called me and said, I have 11 episodes of a series to shoot in Toronto. I said, okay. By that time, I knew stability was not part of my karma. I said, I'll go anywhere. And I had done a lot of work in Toronto.
And we thought that 11 was it, really. We thought, oh, we'll do 11 episodes and we'll be fine.
And because you also, now when you kind of, well, you didn't really have a sense of the point of where this was going to go. I mean, you just thought it was some
Jason was in the pilot. I was not involved in the pilot.
Yeah, we shot the pilot in Vancouver, and we had a great director named Dean Pariseau who really kind of gave the show its shape, along with Andy Breckman, the creator, and David Hoberman. And we kind of, we knew we had a little thing, you know, that it kind of fit, but we just didn't think for a second that we would ever wind up where we are now. And we did. We went and shot the first 11 in Toronto, and then kind of went, well, all right, it was nice to meet y'all, and this is great.
And we shot, talk about hard, we shot it on an impossible schedule because Tony Shalhoub, who is Monk, was doing a feature. And so the network said, okay, we'll push back the schedule. And I didn't know when I did that the schedule was impossible because we were on the air. We moved into stages in April, shot in May, we're on the air in July.
Wow, that's a tight schedule for...
Oh, it was crazy. And at one point they said, we're going to go on without any preemptions. I said, you can't do that. They said, how much will it cost? I said, you don't understand. There aren't enough hours in the day.
Yeah, we can't do it,
And finally, when I sent them the schedule, their air schedule and our production schedule, it showed them that we were still shooting the last episode when they wanted to air it.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you figured it out somehow.
Well, no, they put the preemptions back in. There were some things you can't do, even no matter how much money the network wants to throw at it.
We could not shoot fast enough.
But you were even a little bit hesitant in the beginning to become involved with this, right?
Well, in the pilot, I was working on another show at the time, and in the pilot there was, I mean, it wasn't. The character of Randy Disher really became a part of that ensemble. It was really initially a show about Monk, his assistant Sharona, and Captain Stottlemyre. It was really a three-hander, and then kind of, and at its core, a mystery show. And then, you know, Andy Breckman, when I auditioned for a completely different character. I auditioned in the pilot. There's a character who's the bad guy, was the deputy mayor.
Oh, really?
He was this kind of young wheeler dealer, and I auditioned for that. And, you know, I'd worked with Dean Pariseau before, and Dean said, no, you're not right. You're not going to get that part. And he called.
Would you like to play the bad guy though?
Not now. No, he's off the show. I've been on it for 7 years.
Made the right choice.
Yeah, and he called me up and he said, "Look, we don't know. There's this other character, and he's kind of the sidekick. He is the foil to Captain Stottlemyre as Sharona is to Monk." And they said, "We don't know what we're going to do, but they're writing this part as we speak." And then the rest is really history from then on in.
Well, and Jason has has just grown so much as an actor and as a comedic actor and a straight actor. It's just amazing to watch his work these days. Every nuance is golden.
Yes, I mean, he's really
great.
become an integral part of
Yes,
the...
and that's how the part, you know, grows because of what the actor brings to it and how it develops. So it's amazing.
Yeah, we're very, very lucky. We have a very, very, very diligent kind of cast who really, we still to this day after, you know, 6 years or however long we've been doing it are still, you know, we like going to work and we like working with each other, and we got a lot of laughter on the set. Yeah.
It's a good group, and Andy writes great lines for them.
Absolutely.
Great scenes.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Let's start round one.
Okay, so we're starting with you, Jason.
I don't want to start,
You get to start,
but my grammar is poor.
which is why it's going to be so much fun for all of us to have you play the first round.
All right, Jane, I tell you what, I will set the example.
Okay,
start
very
this
good.
show.
Ready, set, go.
Oh, I've already started. Not a terrible start already. Well, 50-50. Wrong. 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 Wrong again? Come on. Finally, I got the last one right. Here we go. If anyone, that's it. I only got 20.
Well, I'll
points.
say good job, Jason, but we know we're going to see higher scores than that.
Your job.
And we are back with Jason Gray-Stanford and Fern Field from Monk. So Tony Shalhoub, what is it like working with the monk himself?
Oh, I tell you what, one of the reasons that this show has been so successful is, you know, 2 words, Tony Shalhoub.
Yes.
It's pretty simple. Every now and again, I mean, as an actor, you work with other actors that you just kind of, you learn from them every day. You admire their work before you ever worked with them. And they themselves kind of find a part that kind of fits like a great pair of shoes or like a great jacket. I can't imagine anyone else playing this part. I don't think the show would have been successful if anybody else played this part. And as I say, Tony is the sun, and we're the planets that just revolve around this bright, brilliant sun, and we're happy to do it every day.
I've interviewed his wife, by the way. I've never interviewed
Brooke,
his wife.
Brooke. But Tony is truly an amazing, amazing performer. I remember one moment in the Willie Nelson episode and it was even stronger in the dailies before it was
The Willie
edited.
Nelson episode.
Yes, in season 1 we had Willie Nelson as a
Really?
guest, and he was accused of murder, and Tony has an opportunity to play live on a radio performance that Willie's doing, and Monk plays the clarinet. And as he's about to perform, the musician next to him takes the clarinet and says, "Here's how you hold it," and puts the clarinet in his mouth. And so now the opportunity of a lifetime is gone. And you can see in Tony's face, it's an absolutely Chaplin-esque moment. As the camera's moving in, I can't do this, I have to do this. This is an opportunity that will never come back. I've got to do it. I can't do it. It's over. And you saw all those emotions happening.
Hilarious,
and I went,
hilarious.
Oh my goodness.
Hilarious and heartbreaking.
Yes,
At the same time, because he cannot put his mouth on the clarinet piece that someone else has just basically licked and tried. It is, and that's one of the things I think that makes our show
That's
so
why
great.
in the dentist episode with you, where I noticed Monk was more concerned, not so much about the fact that he was being tortured, but about the fact that the guy hadn't washed his hands with the right soap before he was torturing him. That was,
very, very true. And that's one of the things that makes our show great.
I thought it was interesting in an interview that Tony Shalhoub said that he's actually become more like his character since he's been
Well, we don't
playing
shake
this.
hands with anybody anymore.
Nobody. So have you become more like your character?
I think I've become more OCD since the show. I don't think I've become more like my character. I think I've become more like Monk.
More like Monk.
I think
Yeah,
we all have.
become like Monk.
Germophobic.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think I've become more OCD since I've been on the show, or at least maybe I didn't realize my own OCD beforehand. But I think we've all become a little more monkish in a way.
Yeah. But
Well, you know, of course, there is one big change this season. When I was out at Grammar B, I had the chance to meet
Stanley Kamel,
Dr. Kroger,
Yes.
and the next week,
I know.
he died of a heart
It
attack.
was such a shock when
Yeah.
Tony called me. I just couldn't believe it because Stanley had been at the screening. It was just, we were all shocked.
Yeah, it was a really hard moment because you kind of don't realize what a surrogate family
Yeah.
you are, because we all work together, yet we all have our own individual lives. And we had seen Stanley at the upfronts where we were promoting the show for the next season, and it was the first season that we all were really together, really there together at the
Yes.
same time. And I remember taking, you know, photos with Stanley and whispering into Stanley's ear at one time where we were taking a photo, and I said, you look great. You look great.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
it's about bloody time that we're all here together.
And he was so excited
You know,
to
yeah.
be a part of it. It was really important.
Yeah, and it
to
was
him.
great. And then obviously I got a call from Tony as well. And I mean, it's funny because when the phone rings, you think something. I mean, first thing that went through my mind is I thought, oh, Tony's going to call us and tell us the show's canceled. It's just the show's canceled, or it's something. You know what I mean? Those are like something ridiculous. And it was just
my
it was just such a shock.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was just such a consummate pro, and he was always happy to come to work and always smile on his
Yeah.
face and always about the work and just kind of, you know, bright and set every time he showed up.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Now, his part in the show has been filled by, or a new doctor has been brought in
Dr.
because
Bell.
that was.
Dr.
Yeah,
Bell.
who's played by Hector Elizondo now, who's a lovely actor in his
Yes,
own right,
he's
and where, you know,
wonderful.
it's
He's wonderful.
yeah, and it's I mean it's new, it's fresh, and it's you know, yet again another experience that Monk has to deal with.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, well, and by the way, I should say, I've heard such great things about this show. I've been asking people, the makeup artists were
Everybody
fans, and my
loves
music
it,
teacher,
yes,
and a friend of mine who's here
yes. Yeah,
today. You know,
everybody.
everybody just heard such great things about it. But people even said, too, I mean, you know, that would, well, I hate to say it this way, but that his death would bring the story, it would just, because it was just going to be a major impact on
he was an important integral part, and it's as important to the characters in the show as it was to us,
Yeah.
the family.
So, but do you get that kind of feedback on the street from the people?
Oh, you know,
who-
we're so, yeah, it's so funny because you don't really think about it like in those terms, and so many people really love the show. But it's such a, I mean, every single time someone comes up and says that they love Monk, it kind of just puts a smile on your face because we have so much fun doing it. We love the fact that it translates to
Yeah.
everybody else, you know, out there, and we're really proud because I'll have people come up who are, you know, 70. Mothers and fathers, children,
Yes,
aunts and
yeah,
uncles,
it
grandfathers,
crosses- it
granddaughters.
crosses-
We have such a
Yeah.
such a huge variety of people who like the show that it's just, I mean, it really is. We're really lucky.
Yeah, we are. We are, and I was lucky because I have Jason, who hosted the Grammar Bee.
Absolutely.
I was sitting there at a table read for Monk, thinking, who
remember
am
that.
I going to get?
Yeah.
And I'm looking
It's like, hey,
around.
you, what
and
about you?
Well, I didn't
Yeah.
ask you. I went, oh my God, you know, he would be perfect. And then I didn't approach him right away. I had to run it by my friend Angela Mancuso, who's very much hipper and much younger than I am. I said, what do you think about Jason as my host? She said, oh, he would be fabulous. So then I talked to him, and he said yes, and it was
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, and now we forge on with
Yes,
the
we
Grammar
do,
Bee.
we
That's
do.
There's going to
right.
be round 2, I take it, another season of Grammar Bee?
Right. The round 2 will still be a local show with KCET Desert Cities broadcasting it, and then we hope to go at least statewide and nationwide. The exciting thing is that we're working with them to develop a Grammar Bee curriculum that will go into the schools.
In the schools.
Yeah.
And this is such a great project, by the way. I mean, it's, you know, talk about just you know, a worthy cause as far as, but I also like, you know, we were talking about this the day of the event, that they have spelling bees, which in some ways I always feel like it's kind of like rote memorization, but this is really like higher level thought because, you know, grammar.
Right,
And there are so many.
And we do it in various rounds. We have 6 rounds. I didn't know that I was in effect creating 6 game shows. I thought I was just being clever and it wouldn't be boring, but every round is played differently. So, and then we had a wonderful tiebreaker, which gave an opportunity to so many of our contestants to really shine. And that was all verbal. And one of the reasons I think the show is so important is because we are surrounded by bad grammar.
You think grammar's really gone downhill in
Oh
America?
my God, me and Herman are going to the mall, you know, her and her fiance. Everybody's saying these things.
I mean, and I will be the first to admit that my grammar is very, very poor. But we do. I mean, we live in the email age now, in the text age, and we abbreviate, and you know, we kind of have taken for granted the actual power of words and kind of actually how to put them together correctly.
And communication is so important. It's going to be important for these youngsters who
and that's
are
what the
coming
whole
up.
idea was. It was to kind of make the grammar, to make it fun again, to
exactly.
make it cool,
Make it
cool,
that's
and make it
exactly
hip,
right.
and kind of go, look, it's okay.
Yeah.
One of those common examples, I hear this all the time. In fact, it's in the Mariah Carey video, Touch My Body. Yeah, that's the song. She said, between you and I. People say that all the time instead of between you and me, and they think they're being correct saying between you and I.
Well, we have in our newsletter quotes from shows like Oprah and David Letterman. They're looking at photos. These are photos of David and I. No, I don't think so, you know. Or you have people saying the real estate agent showed John and I the house. I don't think so. And the easy way to correct yourself is just drop that. John, the real estate agent showed I the house. I don't think you'd say that. I hope you wouldn't say that.
We will be right back with the winner of Grammar Bee.
And Ben, 940 points. So ladies and gentlemen, you know what that means? It means we have our Grammar Bee winner. Ben, come on out here with me, man.
Yes, Ben.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Really, really well played. Come on up here. Jane, will you come and join us, please?
Absolutely. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And here you are as our first place Grammar Bee winner, a scholarship for $5,000.
Wonderful.
Yay.
Congratulations.
And we are back. Joining me now is Ben Rosenblum, the winner from Grammar Bee. Pleasure to meet you, Ben.
Nice to, thank you for having me.
So congratulations, you won Grammar Bee.
Yes, yes.
So how did you get roped into this thing? How did
Well,
you get...
actually, I was just walking around school and I saw a flyer on the wall, and I said, "Oh, I know grammar."
You know grammar.
I can do this.
I guess you do. But what do you think? But most of your colleagues, kids, what do you call them? And most of the kids are at
Peeps.
school with you. Yeah, peeps, whatever.
Friends. Yeah.
Do your friends have good grammar?
Most of them do, actually.
Most of them do.
Yeah.
But do you think, is that kind of an anomaly for young kids today or not?
I think that's true. My friends have good grammar. People in my generation, maybe not so much.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 17 now.
17, okay. So how has this, actually you get a scholarship for winning, right? So
Yes, a
what'd you
$5,000
get?
scholarship.
$5,000 scholarship. And do you already have plans for college or anything like that? Or?
No, I kind of have my options open.
Sure. Well, you got some time.
That's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Keep those options open.
What'd you think of Jason's grammar, by the way?
I was impressed.
Oh, very nice. That's right. I paid him off.
I think he's too hard on himself.
Paid him off earlier on.
I was just trying to put him on the spot.
Oh.
But I hear you're an actor too, by the way.
Yes. I'm involved in the theater program at my school.
And do you think you might want to pursue that professionally, or?
I might want to in college. So maybe not as a career, but as a hobby.
Right. Now, do you still
acting.
see anybody from the show? Do you see them cruising around? Or
I actually saw two of them at a football game.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. You guys did you say hi and like talk about it and stuff? Because it was kind of like a really intense, kind of like whatever, like days worth for all of us. Because I mean, these guys were so great because in one respect they're competing against each other, but yet the camaraderie was still there. I mean,
right.
They
I
were
made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
through the
And
show.
it actually turned out to be so much fun, I think, for all of us at the end. And I think it was, which is why I asked if you had seen anybody since, because this is the first time that Ben and I have seen each other since then. And I want to know what's going on. Yeah, what's happening? What's going on?
One thing I noticed during the competition, and Fern and I were talking about this later, was that maybe it has something to do with the digital age and people text messaging and their computers and everything, but it seemed that people were more comfortable reading things, and that when they heard the questions or some of the things, it was harder for the people to get it than if they saw it. Did you think that was true?
I thought that was true. That was a tendency.
Yeah. What was
that
the
I saw.
hardest? What was the hardest? What was the hardest part of it? Like which ones were the hardest ones?
The hardest part of it probably was the verbal part, hearing it out loud.
What was the hardest question for you? Do you remember which one that was?
Hardest question.
Or what ones did you get right or wrong?
The hardest question I think was, I am smarter than her, and I had to correct that and say I'm smarter than she.
Right. And the way you know that is, you add the is. I'm
Right,
smarter
at
than
the
she
end,
is.
that's right.
All right, look, you learn something every day.
See, this is educational here.
Exactly, I'm learning right now.
Well, maybe you become an English teacher. Do you ever think of that?
No,
No,
no way.
no.
Come
He
on.
wants to become an actor or a movie star. Okay,
Yeah,
we know.
I'd be an actor before I'd be an
And
English
he can
teacher.
play an English teacher on TV
On Monk.
movies. Yeah,
On
exactly.
Monk.
You can come and play an English teacher on Monk.
Right, new
So,
character.
has this affected your grammar, Jason? Are you a lot more conscious now?
Yeah, you
on
know
your-
what? Actually, the truth is, yeah, I am, and I mean, it's, and I actually, I hope to be much better at it the next go around too. So that, because I do remember one thing when when we did the show. I remember, I think something in my opening little preamble. I was like, please, everyone, forgive me because all these guys up on stage that you're about to see are way smarter than I am.
You were very
so-
modest about that.
But I think it's very, very true because I could not do what they did up there and answer those questions. I mean, you've got to remember, it's 6 rounds of different categories of grammar, plus a time clock, plus an audience watching you. So I mean, the pressure to
It was
do
very
that.
difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it can very, very much so. And then playoff rounds, the verbal things. When there was a tie or something.
Yeah, you have to be very focused
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
the entire thing.
That's what I wondered sometimes. I thought, I wonder if they don't know the answer or if they're kind of blanking out in the moment because, you've got the people and, was there some stage
It's
fright,
very
I
easy
guess?
to be
is that-
nervous.
Yeah, there's many more things involved than just answering the question. There's a lot of other pressures and stresses. But all these guys were so great, and everyone was engaged and funny, and and then we really had a great time. I mean, that's why we're forging ahead the way we are with it, and kind of hope that one was the first of many more to come.
Well, again, and hopefully it'll help improve correct use of
Yeah.
English in America.
Make
as
it
Fern
cool,
would
make
say.
it funny, make it fun again. It's like
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we'll look forward to second season. Thank you very much, Jason
My pleasure,
Gray-Stanford
man.
from Monk.
Absolutely.
Ben,
Thank you.
congratulations again on winning. You can see Monk on USA Network. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.